Hey everyone, this is Justin, and this is a paella making video. I am going to make a chicken and seafood paella using the Firebowl that's very popular. Firebowl is not used for cooking; they advise not to. But I put on this cooking grate, and there I am, showing you why it's probably not a good idea to be cooking on the fireball. You see, the fireball fire, even when set on its lowest temperature or its lowest flame setting, is still very high. The flames are going around my paella pan. The paella pan is very shallow, and so you can see the flames going around it. That's gonna pose some problems. So here I am. I have all my ingredients on the side out of the frame. You can't see it, but the pan is really hot. I tried touching it, but I know it's really hot. And yep, I'm using some tongs to do that, and getting the oil all around. That could have been too much oil because the first thing that goes in is the chicken. And I season the chicken, salt, pepper. It's just chicken thighs. I always use chicken thighs for my paellas. They're kind of big. I should have cut them maybe smaller, but I'm having trouble thinking if I cut them in half, do the bone bits get everywhere? I'm not sure. Here I am salting the chicken. They weren't all seasoned, so I put two of them in first, and that was kind of a mistake. You should have all your stuff seasoned before you cook, so that you have even cooking time on all of them. As you can see, the oil goes to one side of the pan. Goes to one side of the pan. So another problem is the surface level is not even. The firebowl is on the patio pavement there, and it's uneven. So all of the oil went to one side of the pan. If I can go back in time, I maybe elevate the firebowl or something like that. Try to get it so that it is evened, and then the oil wouldn't go all the one to one side. You can see those flames. They're really tall flames. And so I'm probably doing a mistake that a lot of people do. We overcrowd the pan. So the chicken was too big. I should have maybe gotten maybe not, instead of six pieces. Maybe I could have gone with five or even four. Could have been okay. But I was hungry. I was super hungry. I wanted to eat all the food that I prepped. So here I am. I'm just searing skin side down on the chicken, and I can tell that yeah, the fire is really hot, and hot on one side. So look at those flames. Those are dangerous flames. They are going all over the sides there, and later you're gonna see that catching on fire. The oil, that's not cool. And the grate there, that's keeping everything up, keeping the pie pan up. That's just hanging on the corners there. Can you see the corners of the grate? Had I pushed the pie pan around to, this is my son. I'm just holding my boy right now. He's just a 4-month old making mumbling noises. Had the grate be pushed around off the corners, everything would have gone tumbling down. That would have been really dangerous. So I was careful not to move the paella pan too much, which is unfortunate because if I wanted to control where the heat was, a lot of seasoned paella cooks, they would move the pan around, or even they would move their charcoal around. So you see that fires going up there. It was really tough. And, you know, they're close to my hand, too. If I'm using tongs to move around the chicken, they were really hot. Here I was playing with what it's like to turn off and on the flames to see if I needed to use a fire starter. If I turned it off and then turned it on immediately within, let's say, 3 seconds, they do turn back on without having a lighter, external lighter. But later you'll see that I had things off for like 1 or 2 minutes at a time to bring down the temperature, and then I needed to relight it with an external fire lighter. So here I am flipping the two chickens that I knew had the most heat on them, and they were the first two chicken pieces that I put on. And so I flipped those two, and then they browned really well. Nothing was sticking. That was really good. I should have used olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, but now look at that. The fire's catching the oil, and I was freaking out. I didn't turn off the fire though, because that's been annoying, having to turn on and off. I just let things cook. I just let things fry there for a minute. I didn't want to touch it so much. Yeah, Micah, you want to say something? You want to say how delicious that was? I'm just joking. He didn't eat anything. But he watched us eat it, and it was delicious. Spoiler alert. I'm moving things around. So that's what you do in case your paella pan or your cooking surface are different temperatures around. Just move things around. That's what I tried to do without catching more things on fire. See how close my hands are to the flame? My hands were really close to the flame. Good thing these tongs were extra long. If these tongs were not extra long, then it would have been difficult for me to flip and to manipulate the chicken there. So not all the chicken browned properly. I think in the middle of the pan, ironically, the middle of the pan is not the hottest. I believe this Firebowl, there's heat that goes in a circle, right? Just how the gas comes out. It's a little ring underneath all those rocks there. So there's fire on the outside, but in the middle, that's not where all the heat is concentrated, which can be a good thing, since oftentimes we burn a lot of things in the middle. Now it's more spread out. Now it's a bit more spread out. So here I am cooking the chicken, thinking about what if my paella pan was bigger? If my paella pan was bigger, maybe the flames wouldn't roll up on the sides like that, and maybe that'd be good. As you can also see, the paella pan is turning black. Later, when I was handling with the paella pan, the bottom was completely black, and that was just really, really, really annoying. This paella pan is I believe it's just a stainless steel pan, and I guess that blackens really easily. Really annoying. It's like charcoal on your fingers if you're not suspecting it, and then you touch everything else, that could be disastrous. So I turn off the fire. I know that the chicken does not need to be fully cooked at this point, just half cooked. I add some more seasoning on top because every paella I've made before has always been a little bit. Oh, Micah, hello. You're screeching? You're screeching? Wanted to make sure that everything is well seasoned. Taking off the chicken that I think were most cooked with the far corner there, and all those juices and oil, chicken oil. That's good. It's flavoring. Keep it in there. Don't throw it away. Put the chicken aside. I put it back into the original bowl that I had it in with the raw juices. It's okay if you bring it back to the raw bowl. They're gonna come back and they will finish cooking. So don't worry about that. Next step, I'm gonna add the red onions. I use red onions. Other people just use normal white onions or sweet onions. I use red onions because I don't know. I just like the idea of everything having that red coloring to it. So the flames aren't on, but this is just the residual heat that's on the paella pan, and that's going. Let that go a little bit. I think I turn it back on. I grab my little fire lighter. And yeah, I turn it back on, and the lighter I have is those like high voltage electric ones, which if I'm stuffing it into the rocks and turning it on, the rocks get in the way of that voltage, and I have to sort of move it around so that there's an actual lightning arc, electrical arc that comes out. So turning on and off the Firebowl was really annoying, super annoying, because the flames get big and there I am just trying to see if there's any middle burnt on crisps from the chicken. I just give it a rub in case there's anything there. Red onions now hit the pan. They call it deglazing. They call it deglazing the pan. And then I'm going to add the garlic. That goes on top. Now, another mistake, again, crowding the pan. I'm putting way too many toppings. Way too many onions. Maybe that amount of garlic is okay. But if I can go back, I'd probably do less onions and less toppings just because the paella pan. Yeah, it just got super crowded. It just got super crowded in there. So here I go, bringing back temperature of this paella and getting the fragrances out. By the way, this video is 29 minutes. It is not the entirety of this video because my camera can only do 29 minutes and it cut out. I totally forgot about that limitation. There it is. I'm putting in red peppers. Okay, Micah, you want to roll around? All right. My son's just wanting attention. All right, so putting the red peppers in. Red peppers, garlic, and onion. I think that's what they call the holy trinity of Spanish cooking. The sofrito. This is now. I think I'm missing tomatoes. I think just gotta add that tomato in there. Tomato paste, I mean. So getting that all sauteed. Adding more salt. Add a little bit more salt. Making sure there's enough seasoning throughout. I don't want to put in all this work and not have a well-seasoned meal. So the cool part is that, you know, with those flames, like, it's cool. You want to cook like this? You want to live on the edge? You can do that. You can cook with this Firebowl and a paella. Maybe you want to use a cast iron pan. Here I am opening a bag of chorizo. This was purchased at Save on Foods, or it was a Price Smart. Purchased at Price Smart for like $8.50. One bag was good. I had another bag ready, but realized one bag was good. One bag was enough. I didn't want to crowd the pan. You know, after each step, right? Onions, garlic, red bell peppers, chorizo, things just add up. And the best way to combat this is let everything sweat out, right? Because onions get smaller, garlic gets smaller, everything gets smaller. Let it all sweat out, let it all cook out, so that you'll have more space for everything else, the rice and the chicken and the seafood after. Okay, so I am giving that a go. I know the heat is on really high. Trying to get all those oils out from the chorizo. The chorizo oil is really flavorful. Chicken oil is in there, as we added earlier, and then we have all those flavors coming together. So it's a dish that's like sort of like a Chinese clay pot rice, but not on the clay pot. This is on a paella pan. But I have lots of experience making clay pot rice, the Chinese clay pot rice. So it's a good variation. Definitely good variation. A lot of differences, of course. I'm not saying they're anything similar in flavor, but the idea and the concept of your toppings and your rice and all that. So I'm opening up a can of tomatoes, and I was freaking out. It took a long time to open the can of tomatoes. I should have had that can already opened, because now I'm burning my sofrito. It's burning. I'm not noticing it. I am freaking. I was just like trying to open this can of tomatoes. Oh my goodness, it was really, really, really bad. So in the part of the pan, okay, Micah, okay. In the part of the pan that was the hottest, it started burning. And I was very, 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 well, I didn't really know, actually. Did I? I don't know. Now that I'm watching it, I think I do. I try to mix it up, which was another mistake. I should not mix the burnt bits into it. But that's complicated, you know? I took out the burnt bits, and then later tried eating the burnt bits straight. It was delicious. It was caramelized onions and garlic and chorizo. It was really good, actually. So I don't know. Jury's out on that. Not sure how that is. Again, I'm just trying to open the can of tomatoes. I should turn off the heat. If you ever leave it unattended, turn off the heat. You if you're gonna cook in the Firebowl, it's super hot. It's super hot. It's super hot. All right, so it is it's a cool picture. Like, honestly, I'm making a sofrito. The flames are all over it. The bottom of the paella pan is like developing this crazy char. My wife comes out. She gets into the frame. That's when I notice it's burning. It is burning. I could see this. You can see it, right? Oh my goodness. So instead, I decide to, right, just like I said, I decide to take it out. I grab another spoon, and then I find, the greatest concentration of the burnt bits, and I scoop it out into that bowl. I'm telling you, that bowl has extremely delicious sofrito. Like, just the bits. Chorizo bits. I can turn that into an omelet tomorrow. That would be delicious. I'll just put an egg in there. So I smartly turn off the heat. It's just hot. It's already ripping hot in that pan, but it cools down really quickly. I'm outside. It's like December 3rd right now. It's like -2 outside. So I pour in half a can of these diced tomatoes, the Unico brand. Start mixing it again, and I think this is now the legitimate sofrito. This is where like the tomatoes mixed with all the chorizo, so you get the acid in there, the garlic, onions, all that good stuff. So get that going, sweat it all out. Oh, and what do I have? Paprika. This is smoked paprika. You can use sweet paprika if you want. The chicken brand, the Spanish chicken one out of the red can. That one's really good. I think mine was like Clubhouse. It's just like, what you find at your local supermarket. It's nothing fancy there. So, but I put in a lot. I did put in a lot. You just saw me sticking some of those burnt bits that I took out. I put in a few in because I was thinking maybe it'll add some smoky flavor. Maybe it'll add some caramelized texture. I think I was right. I think I was able to boost the flavors by a bit. Okay. So again, relight the bottom because you just have to. You can't keep this thing turned off for too long. It gets too cold. Maybe if it's the summertime, you can try to have it out longer. And I think this one was a big explosion here. Boom! That freaked me out. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. All right, so I turn it back on. Put it to the lowest setting. That's the lowest setting. Those flames going up on the sides. Have to be very, very careful. Okay, so give it a stir. I know the heat's gonna come up like super quick. My wife is off frame. She's prepping. I think I give her a job to do to prepare the saffron. The saffron is very, very, very important. I have some left, like just from years ago, gifted to me from people who travel to like Peru or like to Spain or whatever. I think we just put in a full 1 ounce in there, and I just dumped it in. I didn't toast it or I didn't boil it into anything. There it is. So she opened it for me, putting in this 1 ounce of the saffron. I made sure that at least it was oily. The pan was oily. The pan had liquid in it, so that I can really mix it around. Okay, and I turn off the heat. I turn off the heat because I didn't want to kill the saffron. I wanted to give it, like a reasonable amount of temperature to extract all the flavors from the saffron because it's expensive. It's super expensive, right? So I turn off the heat just in case I was afraid I was going to overpower or like just overcook the saffron. I'm not even sure if it's possible, but in case it was, I turned off the heat. So we have all those flavors mixing around there. Got all the saffron, the chorizo, tomatoes, garlic, onions, and the chicken flavors that were on there earlier. Everything's coming together. My wife goes back into the house with the baby, and here I go. I prepare, I believe, the rice. The rice is the star of the show. So this is the complete opposite of Asian cooking. Asian cooking, like rice is important, but usually the toppings are essential. For this paella, the rice needs to be the star of the show. So what kind of rice do you use? You have to find bomba rice. You have to use bomba rice. You can find also like Valencia rice. That works as well, but you need bomba rice. I've tried everything before. I've tried jasmine rice. I've tried not Indian rice, basmati rice, uh, sushi rice. I've tried everything. I've made paella probably at least 10 or 15 times in my life. Bomba rice is what you need. Go to, if it's not your local groceries, go to some fancy gourmet warehouse, go to some fancy Whole Foods, then you'll find it there. I don't know why I'm off screen for so long, but here I come back, grab my rice, my bomba rice. I didn't even wash it, it's just straight out of the bag. Just straight out of the bag. Make a layer of rice on top. I had leftover rice in the bowl. I decided not to use it all because don't want to overcrowd the pan. Just cook what you think you're able to. If you add too much, your cooking times are going to be off, your liquid amounts are off, and it just won't come together. So as soon as the rice is in, I want to make sure it's coated with some of the oils that are in the pan. There's some residual heat in the pan. Get that going, but don't mix too much. You don't want to mix too much. Stirring is bad for paella. You don't want the rice to have its starchy outside all of a sudden come off, and you have a really thick stew or like a chalky risotto. That's not what we're going for. Do not use risotto rice. Use bomba rice. Here I am. I smartened up. I grabbed oven mitts so that I can actually make adjustments to the pan. Earlier I didn't have them, so I was just afraid of using my hands. That would be painful. So I adjust to where I want the pan to be, knowing where the flames were, and I add in this stock. This is a half and half shrimp stock, beef stock. Now I should have used chicken stock. I didn't have any chicken stock, but I used beef stock. But it tasted so delicious. This is a half and half shrimp stock, beef stock, and then added a half bottle of white wine. It's very, very, very delicious. So pour until it covers all the goodies. Make sure you're submerged everything. I don't think you can put in too much liquid. I guess you can, but just every video I've seen on paella, just make sure you cover everything and with enough heat and with enough time, it'll all evaporate. Bomba rice is going to absorb all of it. Okay, so just cover it all. If you notice in the pot to the left side of the frame, I still have leftover broth, just in case I didn't add enough. Then you can just pour little by little in areas of the paella pan where you think that there needs to be more liquid. I was adjusting earlier, again, the pan, make sure that the heat was evenly distributed. It looks like it's more to the left now. Those flames are rolling up the left side more, but that's where I thought it was the most even cooking. And I'm not distracted by the flames. I'm looking at the bubbles. Look at where the bubbles are in the paella cooking in your broth. Where the bubbles are is where the heat is, right? So if that's even, then your cooking is even. So, and now I'm just staring at it. This is my first time cooking on the Firebowl paella pan like this. So I'm just thinking about what should I... Okay, so here I'm adjusting again. So make sure you have good oven mitts, right? If you need to make the changes, you have to make the changes on the pan, and you don't want to burn yourself. So here I am. My brain is thinking, now how long do I stare at this? Is the bottom actually burning, right? So spoiler alert, Even though the bottom is like searing hot, it's not burning. It's actually quite good. The liquids are keeping everything very well evenly cooked. Nothing is sticking. Nothing is burning. Everything is doing exactly as it should. So here I am. I know that, well, the chicken's got to go in, right? The chicken's only half cooked. So I'm just putting away the tomato paste, the diced tomatoes. Just putting away the diced tomatoes. And if you're thinking that diced tomatoes are going to end up chunky in the final form of this paella, no. When we're eating it at the end, we saw no tomato chunks. It just all gets absorbed and it just goes straight into, it just all blends together. Not noticeable at all. So here I am, just making sure everything is evenly distributed. I'm not stirring, paella. Just moving things around so it's nice and even. Here I am, bringing back in the chicken, the half-cooked chicken that I had earlier. Okay, just finding a good place for them. Have the skin floating above. They don't need to be submerged. Just have them halfway there, skin exposed, and they will cook. They will cook. Because later we're going to cap it off with some tin foil, and with that tin foil, it's going to keep that nice and cooked. I just poured in the bit of the chicken juices that were in the raw bowl. And remember, it's okay to put in the raw stuff right now because it's boiling. It's boiling. Everything is going to get cooked. So here I am, staring at this beautiful, bubbling paella, thinking about, oh man, is it burning underneath? Do I turn off the heat? What am I going to do? When do I put in the clams? When do I put in the mussels? So I eventually find the time to do it, but I am watching the bubbling here. So clams are getting ready. I am waiting for the right time. If you put in the seafood too early, then you're gonna overcook the seafood, right? Seafood doesn't take as much time to cook as the chicken or as the rice. So you got to find the right time to put in your seafood. When you put in your clams, try putting them the opening side downwards. I saw that in another video. But basically, when the clams open, they're gonna release more of their seafood goodness into your paella. So you put in your clams face side down, and they'll open up. On one side, a clam opened and actually almost pushed some of the rice out of the paella pan. That was funny. So, if that's how big this paella was growing. Like when the rice expands, I mean, it'll expand really, really close to the edge. And if you're not careful with how much food you're putting into the paella pan, if you're overcrowding it, then your rice could go and spill over the top. So here I am. I know that things are going. It smells great at this point. All that chicken, chorizo, onions, saffron, tomatoes, and the white wine. Oh my goodness. I hope my whole entire apartment complex could smell this. I hope they could smell what I'm cooking. So I turn off the heat. I wanted to see what it would be like. Would it be cooking well without the heat? And I think so. I could tell. Liquid's going down. Rice is absorbing the liquid, and of course it's being cooked off by itself, right? It's evaporating. So at this point, I'm thinking, like, do I need to add any extra liquids? Not really. I don't think I need to add any liquids at this point. Still pretty good. I didn't want a soupy paella at the end, right? I want the perfect, fluffy rice, delicious, flavorful paella. So I was watching it, and I say to myself, "Oh, if I don't add the seafood now, maybe the seafood won't even get cooked. Maybe I'll have not enough heat for the seafood." So this is where the video ends. I'm so sorry, everyone. My camera maxed out on time, but this is where I put the clams. This is where I put the mussels, and I'll show you the photo right now It looked awesome. Put lemons all around it. You're going to need the lemons. It just adds the extra zing. And my goodness, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, you need to try this at home, but maybe not with the Firebowl. Only if you want a challenge are you going to cook a paella with the Firebowl. Thank you so much. See you all next time with Cooking with Justin. Bye-bye.